Cameron blows goats. Right? I don't even know what that means, but I like the sound of it.
As far as whether it's a criminal offence, it is that insulting words that's likely to offend somebody. And I think there'd be a good argument that a lot of people would just think that was quite funny and perhaps a bit odd.
What other slogans have caught your eye here? Bollocks to Blair, the classic of the genre.
I think the real issue that we need to look at is whether people are being arrested for the bollocks bit or the Blair bit.
Yeah, that's what we want to establish, don't we? Because what about if it was, I don't know, like testicles to Tony, for instance? You know.
Well, if the police officer's view was that people might be offended by the word bollocks, then obviously if you replace bollocks with a factual description, which is testicles, to Tony, then I would have thought that's even less likely to cause offence.
And what about just to test out, just for the fun of it, if we were to test out whether the real problem is that is not the word bollocks, but the fact it's been applied to our Prime Minister. What about if we were to try bollocks to Claire? Who's Claire? I don't know. But if we just wanted to put the word bollocks to the test applied to someone else, do you think that would still get us in trouble?
I think that would be an interesting thing to try.
1 week later, we were going to do just that. Charlotte had originally been arrested at a country fair. We'd found a similar event, the International Horse Show and Exhibition at Olympia in London, to test out our slogans in public.
There are stunning horses over here.
We are going deep, deep undercover. We're assuming different names. We've got false papers, the lot. If anyone asks anything, just run. Or pretend to faint. I don't know, something like that.
We were going to find out once and for all whether the problem was Blair or was it bollocks. Were people getting arrested for offensive language or for daring to criticise the PM? Our two T-shirt dissidents would carry new slogans. Charlotte's would say bollocks to Claire, which was meaningless but covered the bollocks angle. Julia's T-shirts would say testicles to Tony, a strictly anatomical protest. Our lawyer thought neither would get us into trouble. We were hoping she was right.
Come on.
I'm not
Get your kit off.
No, I'm staying neutral in all of this. I don't necessarily agree with what you lot are saying, but I'll defend your right to say it with my own life if necessary. I'll put my own testicles on the line. You're right to say whatever it is you want to say about Tony Blair.
The heady mix of show jumping and dressage had attracted a heavy security presence.
Smell more shit.
Treasure's got a good racing line, but coming up on the outside, it's next round's Bobby Joe, then the grey, it's Rickles and Pewter up on the inside. The bookies are going to do their money, but it looks like it's going to be...
At first, take-up on the shirts was slow. But when people started to hear about what had happened to Charlotte and Julia, they all wanted to show their support.
What do you think about me getting arrested for it?
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. I had a Bollocks to Blair T-shirt on that I was wearing during the election and they wanted to arrest me. So today we're wearing testicles to Tony rather than Bollocks to Blair. And if you don't find it offensive, our slogan here today, you can have a T-shirt.
Yes, please.
We think that's the non-offensive version of the same idea.
Would you like one?
I'm sure it'd be lovely, thank you very much. So we weren't too sure whether it was the words bollocks or Blair, so we changed it to Claire. We've got testicles to Tony as well, Al. I'd like one of those as well, please. A blue T-shirt going around with testicles to Tony.
That would be very nice. We would have free speech in this country. Tits up to Blair, that'd be all right, wouldn't it? Tits up, bosoms. Big bosoms to Blair. Freedom of speech, honey.
Do you think it's because they're slagging off Blair, or do you just think it's because they're used to bollocks?
It's because it's at Blair.
Would you like this one?
After a while, one slogan was proving more popular than the other.
Done there. That looks great. Fantastic.
Do you feel like, you're getting across a serious political point that you want to make now as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, freedom of speech? It's a good thing, isn't it? It's going really well. And we've got half the show walking around in testicles to Tony T-shirts, and a few of them walking around in bollocks to Claire. But they're just school kids, they just have anything for free, won't they? It could say I am a twat on it and they would have put it on.
With half a horse show making their opinions about the Prime Minister quite so clear, the security guards started to get a bit nervous.
And they're going around confiscating the T-shirts off of everyone we've given T-shirts to, so they've got all their security guards going around commandeering all the T-shirts.
Are they?
Testicles to Tony had got up someone's nose, and it wasn't long before our time was up.
So you are breaking the law?
I am serious about this. I am going to get security here in about 5 minutes and you will be slung out of this building. Now, can you please come with me?
We might have got chucked out, but for as long as we were there, it went down very well, didn't it?
Absolutely.
How do you both feel that people reacted to your T-shirts?
People wanted them, yes. Except they preferred the blue slogan.
Yeah,
What did they think about your one?
They didn't know who Claire was, and they didn't really want a bollocks to Claire because they didn't want Claire on their T-shirt.
Except the guy whose girlfriend was called Claire.
The official complaints from the authorities showered into the BBC, but we still weren't sure why a T-shirt criticising the PM should be a criminal offence.
Hello, Gail. It's Sam Delaney here from the BBC.
The government wouldn't respond to my request for an interview. But the Tories also had a reputation for being tough on crime, and I managed to get a meeting with David Cameron's right-hand man on law and order, the Shadow Attorney General, Dominic Grieve.
These proposals, and I think the Home Secretary will acknowledge this, really drive a coach and horses through that principle.
Yeah, well, what we'll do is I'll go in the door, I'll turn over, and then you lot just catch up, and then we'll act normal.
I wondered what he'd make of our slogans.
We could sit here or sit on the armchairs are good, aren't they? Should we sit on the armchairs?
Yeah. Environment.
Yeah, let's keep it relaxed. Okay. If you can read us out that one and tell us what your thoughts are on that.
This says bollocks to Blair, and whilst it is crude in its utterance, I think it defies belief to think that that constitutes a public order offence. I think this is complete nonsense. Our society is sufficiently robust.
We know a young girl who bought one of those T-shirts and was strong-armed by police at a country fair in Birmingham into the back of a van for refusing to remove it. Is it the word bollocks, or is it the fact that it's applied to Tony Blair that's causing offence? Because then we tried this one. What's more offensive, bollocks or testicles?
Well, frankly, I wouldn't wish to make a judgment between them, and I don't think it really matters.
But do you think,
neither of them, in my view.
You don't think testicles or bollocks is offensive? Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't be either. I mean, the terms bollocks may by some people be thought to be rude and crude. It's not an expression I would use on the floor of the House of Commons, and if I did, the Speaker would probably tell me I shouldn't do so.
It's tempting sometimes, yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure we're all tempted, but I don't think it's something that I wish to do.
Spoken there, let's be honest.
In
your
others
cabinet
may not.
meeting, does the phrase bollocks to Blair come up quite frequently?
Well,
okay, and then you can read us that one and tell us whether you think that would be offensive.
Well, I think it, like bollocks to Blair, I assume it is intended to have an offensive connotation. And I'm not quite sure the context.
Does Cameron blows goats offend you?
No.
No. In any case, here's the last one.
Ming Campbell is a twat is, again, an intemperate and rather rude expression, but it's simply an expression of a view that somebody has of the individual concerned. It's certainly not obscene. There's nothing obscene about it anyway.
The word twat's fairly obscene.
Well, just taking the example which you gave relating to my own leader.
Which one was that?
The one which says Cameron blows goats.
Yeah.
That is an actual assertion of a rather crude kind. I'm not sure what it's designed.
It's a fact almost.
Well, it certainly suggests it's trying to suggest that he is somebody who engages in an activity that most people would regard as being improper. So those are eccentric certainly. So those are two slightly different things. The anxiety I have is that certainly in recent times we've seen the police apparently using the Public Order Act and indeed other legislation in ways that I don't think would have happened 10 years ago. And that does worry me. And we should always err on the side of freedom of speech where there's any area of doubt.
Dominic Grieve, thank you ever so much. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Even a top Tory thought the police were overusing their powers to curb freedom of speech. It was no surprise to hear that the police now wanted even more powers. They were requesting the right to censor all slogans at public protests to prevent groups causing offence. The man behind it all was Assistant Commissioner of the Met, Tariq Ghaffur. I heard he was giving a speech in London, so I thought I'd stop by.